Macromolecules in the form of carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, or fats, and micromolecules may be in the form of vitamins and enzymes. Since that is converted by the HCl, acts on protein. 3/4 of the carbohydrate what we have in our regular diet is digested in the mouth itself. Fats are broken down by pancreatic lipases, that is stearin. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 6 of this chapter called Digestion and Absorption. Myself B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. What did we study in the last session? Hope you remember we studied about two very important digestive glands, very important digestive glands like the liver, the pancreas, the intestinal glands, and the gastric glands. And also we studied about the process of digestion, which involves two very important processes. One is called the mechanical process and the other one is called the chemical process. So coming across to the remaining next very important process of digestion, that is the chemical digestion. So before moving on to this chemical digestion, what was mechanical digestion process all about? As we know, the very important process of chewing the food, mixing of the food with the saliva and rolling it off with the tongue and making it into a semi-solid food called bolus. All that process was called as what? Mechanical process of digestion. So thereon the semi-solid food, and the next very important event has to take place, that is deglutition. So the semi-solid food is swallowed inside. From the esophagus, it moves into the stomach. From there on, whatever process of digestion is taking place, from there on, from the stomach, into the intestine, and finally going into the large intestine, and the assimilation taking place, assimilation and absorption taking place in the large intestine, and also the undigested food being stored in the rectum, and thereon it is eliminated out of the body through anus as fecal matter. So all that process we call it as chemical digestion. So the very word itself will tell you, the chemical digestion means the process of breakdown of the complex organic food substances into simpler, soluble, absorbable food substances is called digestion. So as we all know that, why? Because the food what we take is in the form of biomacromolecules. So it is where we take the food in the form of biomacromolecules and biomicromolecules, or macromolecules and micromolecules. Macromolecules in the form of carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, or fats, and micromolecules may be in the form of vitamins and enzymes. So the process of digestion of the macromolecules as a whole, it is very difficult. So it has to be broken down into simpler substances. Then only the body cells are going to absorb. So that whole process of breakdown of the complex organic food substances into simpler, soluble, absorbable substances in presence of enzymes is called chemical digestion. So as we all know that, so the carbohydrates need to be broken down into monosaccharides, that is simple sugars. Then proteins into amino acids. Then lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. So this is whole process we call it as digestion. So the complex organic molecules need to be converted into simpler, soluble, absorbable molecules. We use the word called digestion. So digestion in the oral cavity. Hope we all remember that, as I said, 3/4 of the carbohydrate what we have in our regular diet is digested in the mouth itself. So salivary amylase has a great role to play in the process of digestion of carbohydrates. So here we can see the oral cavity. So the chemical digestion. So what is that chemical digestion? Digestion in the oral cavity. So the salivary juice lysozyme and salivary enzymes. You know the lysozymes which are found in the buccal cavity will kill the germs. So as we know, the food what we take may have some microorganisms or microbes. So all that is killed by the lysozyme. And the salivary amylase, so the lysozyme present in saliva acts as an antibacterial agent that prevents infection. So unknowingly the food what we have taken may contain some germs or microorganisms. So that is killed by the lysozyme that is produced in the that is present in the saliva. So lysozyme present in saliva acts as an antibacterial agent that prevents infection. So salivary amylase, or which we otherwise call it as ptyalin. Ptyalin acts on the starch food and splits into disaccharide called maltose. So as I said, the carbohydrates are like complex are called polysaccharides. Polysaccharides should be converted into disaccharides. Disaccharides into monosaccharides. So the process of conversion of polysaccharides into disaccharides is done in the mouth itself in the presence of salivary amylase. So salivary amylase acts on the starch and splits into a disaccharide called maltose. So salivary amylase converts starch into maltose. Starch is a polysaccharide. So maltose is a disaccharide. Right. So chemical digestion. So here we can see the hard palate, soft palate, teeth, tongue. All this is involved in what? The mechanical digestion. Thereon, that is the salivary amylase or saliva contains lysozyme, which is going to act as an antibacterial agent that prevents infection. So salivary amylase acts on starch and splits into disaccharide called maltose. So as I said, the 3/4 of the carbohydrate is digested in the mouth itself. Then digestion in the stomach. So the stomach stores the food for 4 to 5 hours. As we know, stomach is a very, very important part of the digestive system, which is divided into 4 parts. That is called the fundus, then the cardiac. This is called fundus, cardiac, body, and this is called the pyloric stomach. So the stomach, it is a storage organ. The food that is taken inside is stored in the stomach for 4 to 5 hours. Then the food mixes thoroughly with the acidic gastric juice produced by the gastric glands of the stomach by churning movements of its muscular wall and is called as chyme. Right. So the food mixes thoroughly with the acidic gastric juice of the stomach by churning movement of its muscular wall and is called chyme. So as we know, the gastric glands produces the parietal cells or oxynetic cells of the stomach will produce what? Will produce HCl. And this HCl, as you know, it acts as both as an antibacterial agent as well as activating the inactive enzymes like pepsinogen into active pepsin. So HCl is an activator of enzymes. As we know, always the enzymes are not always in an activated state. So they are activated when their the job is needed. So when their role is needed, then only they are activated. Simply they will not be produced. So whenever their need is required, then they are activated by certain activators, and one such activator is what? HCl. So here the inactive form of pepsinogen is converted into active pepsin. So as you know, this pepsin acts on proteins. So in the stomach, proteins are digested. Carbohydrate is neither digested, that is the disaccharides remain as such in the stomach, and the lipids are as such in the stomach. Only proteins are digested in the stomach. So by the role of, as we know, enzymes have a great role to play in digestion, and particularly the enzymes are specific in their action. What do you mean by enzyme specificity? As we know that enzymes work in a lock and key system. For a particular substrate, there is a particular enzyme. Just like, the enzyme activity is compared to a lock and key system. For opening a particular lock, we use a particular key. In a similar way, so the enzymes are specific in their action, like means carbohydrates are acted upon by carboxylases. So they are specific. Carboxylases don't act on proteins. There are certain enzymes called proteases. which act on proteins. They don't act on carbohydrates. So that means they are specific in their action. So that is what is a very important role of enzyme. They are very specific in their action, and they are neither used up in the chemical reaction nor their structure is altered. They come back, they return back as they are. So in a similar way, so the proteins, as you know, proteins are again converted into dipeptides. First into dipeptides. The final process of digestion of proteins, carbohydrates and lipids takes place in the small intestine. But here proteins are converted into proteases and peptones, which are dipeptides. Right. So renin is a proteolytic enzyme found in gastric juice of infants. Particularly in small babies, we find renin is a proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic means that which acts on protein, particularly the protein called milk protein. As you know, the infants, the food is only milk. So renin is a proteolytic enzyme found in gastric juice of infants, which helps in the digestion of milk proteins. So I repeat, what is the process of digestion in the stomach? The stomach stores the food for 4 to 5 hours, and the food mixes thoroughly with the acidic gastric juice of the stomach by churning movements of its muscular wall, and is called as food. What is called? Chyme. The food that passes on from the mouth to the stomach is called bolus, and the food that passes on from the stomach to the intestine is called chyme, and the food that passes on from the small intestine to the large intestine is called chyle. Right. So the stomach stores the food for 4 to 5 hours, and the food mixes thoroughly with the acidic gastric juice of the stomach by churning movements of its muscular wall, and is called chyme. So pepsinogen, which is an inactive enzyme. So this is pepsinogen, is an inactive enzyme which is converted into active pepsin. This is active pepsin. This is inactive. This is active pepsin. This pepsinogen is inactive enzyme. So proteins, again, the pepsin that is converted by the HCl acts on protein food that is in the stomach and converts proteins into proteases and peptones, that is dipeptides. Particularly in small children who are always on milk diet, so the renin is a proteolytic enzyme found in gastric juice of only infants, which help in the digestion of milk proteins. Then inactive trypsinogen is converted into active trypsin by enterokinase enzyme. Then active trypsin in turn activates all other enzymes in the pancreatic juice. See how the process of digestion is taking place. Then the bile secreted by the liver and released into the duodenum contains bile pigments called bilirubin and biliverdin. I think all of us know that the yellow color pigment that is found in the liver, that is bilirubin and biliverdin. So bile salts like sodium taurocholate and sodium glycocholate, cholesterol and phospholipids, but no enzymes, which helps in what? Emulsification of fat. Very, very important. You know, the fatty foods cannot be directly digested. It is very difficult, or the process of digestion takes a very long process. So it has to be emulsified. What is emulsification of fat? Which is done by the bile juice. So emulsification of fat, that is converting the complex fat into simple fat droplets. Into simpler fat droplets is called emulsification. So inactive trypsinogen is converted into active trypsin. Then active trypsin in turn activates all other enzymes present in the pancreatic juice, which is produced by the pancreas. As we know, pancreas is both an heterocrine gland, both an endocrine and exocrine gland, and the exocrine part of pancreas is called what? Cells of acini, which produce the pancreatic juice. So the bile secreted by the liver and is released into the duodenum. As we know, the pancreatic juice and the bile juice both they are not directly poured into the first part of small intestine called duodenum. Instead, the secretions go and fall into the sac-like structure called gallbladder. From the gallbladder, the secretions are carried through the gall duct and poured into the first part of small intestine called duodenum. Then we know the bile pigments like bilirubin and biliverdin also is present in bile juice. Then the bile salts are also there, like sodium taurocholate, sodium glycocholate. But the digestion of fats will not take place. Here, finally, what will happen? Emulsification of fat will take. So the bile juice will convert the what you call the complex fat or lipids into simpler fat droplets. Thereon, the process of digestion of fats will take place in the small intestine. Then proteins, proteases and peptones in the chyme which has passed from the stomach reaching the intestine are acted upon by the proteolytic enzymes of pancreatic juice. So here all these are called the dipeptides. These are all called as a dipeptide. So these, that is trypsin, chymotrypsin and carboxypeptidases are converted into dipeptides. So carbohydrates in the chyme are hydrolyzed by the pancreatic amylase called amylopsin into disaccharides. See, as I said, only the carbohydrate that goes to the stomach, 3/4 is digested, but still 1/4 of carbohydrate is as such. So even that 1/4 has to be converted into disaccharides. So carbohydrates in the chyme, what is chyme? The food that is found in the stomach, which is under the process of digestion, is called as chyme, are hydrolyzed by pancreatic amylase called amylopsin into disaccharides. Then polysaccharides, that is the starch, is converted into a disaccharide called what? Maltose, with the help of pancreatic juice. Then that is in the presence of amylase, or what we call it as amylopsin, which is present in the pancreas. So fats are broken down by pancreatic. Lipase is called steaipsin with the help of bile into what? Into monoglycerides. So this is the process of digestion that is going to take place. Then fats are broken down by pancreatic lipases, that is steaipsin, with the help of bile and monoglycerides. So fatty lipids, so here we can see diglycerides under the influence of pancreatic lipase and bile salts converted into diglycerides into monoglycerides. Then pancreatic nucleases act on nucleic acids. See here, as I said, their enzymes are specific. So nucleic acids are acted upon by nucleases to form nucleotides and nucleosides. The nucleic acids are converted into nucleotides into nucleosides. Then the enzymes present in the intestinal juice, as we know, intestinal glands produces intestinal juice called succus entericus, acts on the end product of the above reactions to form the respective simple absorbable forms. So this final stage of digestion takes place in the duodenum of the small intestine. So this is a very, very important concept from examination point of view. Usually they'll ask the process of digestion of carbohydrate, process of digestion of protein, and the process of digestion of lipid. Then here, as I said, dipeptides, that is into amino acids. Maltose in presence of maltase is converted into glucose plus glucose. Lactose is converted into glucose plus galactose, that is these are all the disaccharides. These are all the monosaccharides. So here monosaccharides are what? Glucose, galactose. These are all monosaccharides. Lactose, maltose, fructose, fruit sugar, we call it as maltose. They are all disaccharides. So sucrose also is a disaccharide. Then maltase under the influence of maltase is converted into glucose plus glucose. Lactose under the influence of lactase is converted into glucose plus galactose. Sucrose under the influence of sucrase is converted into glucose plus fructose. Then nucleotidase which will act on nucleotides, convert it into nucleosides. Nucleosides into what? We have already come across sugars plus nitrogenous bases. Then the diglycerides and monoglycerides, they are acted upon by the intestinal juice, that is lipase, into fatty acids and glycerol. Hope you have understood the process of digestion of food in the stomach and the small intestine. This is a very, very important concept from examination point of view. Definitely you are going to get questions from this particular chapter called digestion and absorption. So I'll be back with some more interesting concepts of this chapter called digestion and absorption. Till then, goodbye and thank you.